message again. Then they write a short response and include a suggestions for the writer. Letter B, the teacher writes some comprehension questions about the text on the board. Then the student discuss their answers in pairs and share them with the class. Letter C, the teacher gives the student a multiple choice quiz. The student mark their answer and the teacher collects the quizzes for correction.
Thank you very much, Sylvia. Okay. It says, which strategy is it best to do during the post-reading stage? Remember, post-reading stage, no, after reading, this post-reading. The teacher tells the students to read the messages again, then they write a short response and include the suggestions for the writer. The teacher writes some comprehension questions about the text on the board, then the students discuss their answers in pairs and share them with the class. The teacher gives the students a multiple choice quiz. The students mark their answers and the teachers collect the quizzes for correction. And it says, which strategy is it best to do during the post-reading stage? Okay, remember that if we talk about here strategies, all of these could be possible, but it says, is it best? Okay, we can consider that this strategy is correct, but it says, is it best? Okay, that is the best one. So let's read it. When we have this, we immediately need to think about the approaches that are in our curriculum. O sea, it means best to what? Best according with the approaches that we are working in the curriculum that we have, okay? That's when we say best, most appropriate, okay? We need to think immediately about the curriculum, the approaches that we are working in the curriculum, okay? And it says, is it best? And if we check, the teacher gives the students a multiple choice quiz. The students mark their answers and the teacher collects the quizzes for correction. So in this part that is most of the time what we do just a quiz and it's simple. So it's not the best way to develop communicative approach, okay? And B, the teacher writes some comprehension questions about the text on the board. Then the student discuss their answers in pairs and share. This could be not in the post-reading stage. This is, letter B could be while reading stage, okay? While reading stage as a practice. Yes, that's correct. A, the teacher tells the students to read the messages again. Then they write a short response and include a suggestion for the writer, okay? This is the best one. Why? Because in letter A, students are having a real situation because the messages that people wrote on the board are real, are situations that are normal, everyday situations, real messages. And students are going to read real messages in real context and situations, and they're going to answer a short response and include a suggestion for the writer, okay? So this answer give more contact of communicative activities, real communicative activities that put in contact students with real situations too, okay? That's letter A. That's correct. Thank you very much. You have the correct one. Good. So that is why I asked you that says, is it best? No? So in all the questions that we have, most of the time we say, is it best? Is the most appropriate? And we think, okay, for me, this is the best one. I consider because I practice this and I choose this option. But we need to keep in mind that it says best, most appropriate, according to what? According with the approaches and methodology that we are asked to develop based on the curriculum. in the curriculum that we have, no? Okay, that's it. 8, and it says, choose the best alternative to complete the sentence. This is the grammar, no, this is grammar, conditionals. Sentence, if she had saved money, she bought a ticket for the concert, okay? This is about grammar. What is this? Very good. Very good, Pilar. Yes, Irma, that's correct. It's the conditional, no? It's the third conditional, no? We have if, past perfect, and would have, and past perfect. It's the third conditional. Here we only need to remember the structures to find the correct answer. Yes, very good. Yes, that's great. No, in this part of we work with grammar, that's is not so complicated because conditional, we remember structures and it's easy to complete. Yes. Let's check number 9. And it says, Camila's 4th graders are going to practice their oral skills. She wants her students to describe location in a functional context. So she will take advantage of the school field trip to the zoo they enjoyed the day before. Given her goal, which of the following strategies is it more appropriate to carry out? No, again, we have this more appropriate. First, the teacher gives the students a worksheet with statements that mention where to find certain animals at the zoo. In groups, the students go through the statements and discuss whether they are true or false. Then the teacher dictates the answers and asks the students to construct one more sentence about the location of an animal at the zoo. Finally, the students read the sentence they have constructed to the whole class for their classmates to say whether it is true or false. B, first, the teacher makes a list of the zoo animals on the board with the students' help. Next, the teacher assigns a zoo animal from the list to each student. Individually, the students have some minutes to prepare an oral description of the location of the animal they got without mentioning its name. Finally, the students take part in a guessing game in which some volunteers read their descriptions and the other students guess the animal they refer to. Another option, C. First, the teacher pairs up the students and gives them a copy of the map of the zoo. She asks the students to role play a conversation. Student A is a visitor that wants to find an animal at the zoo, and student B is a guy that gives directions to its location using the map. The students think about the phrases they will include, and the teacher helps them when necessary. Finally, the students practice the conversation and present it to the class. And again, we ask which is more appropriate. Remember, communicative process, okay, communicative approach. Yes, yes, very good, Sylvia and Pilar. Yes, yes. That's why I tell you, no, if we keep in mind what are the approaches, methodologies that we are asked to work, that is going to be easy to find the relationship, okay? Yes, letter C. Because if you have, for example, letter A, the teacher gives the students a worksheet with statements that mention to find, so that's not communicative, okay? That's not communicative. And you have in B, for example, make the list of animals on the board, individual, prepare. So that's not communicative individual. And letter C is a communicative activity. Yeah, that's it, because the student is going to be in contact with another student. They're going to be like a real situation. They have to be a role play because one student is going to be the visitor, the other going to be the guy, and they need to practice with questions, words, statements, a lot of sentence of a real situation in the zoo. So this is communicative, okay? It's a communicative activity. Very good. 10. Ursula is going to use important historical events of the 21st century to provide the context for her writing class. Because of this, she would like to know what information students have on the topic so that she can adapt her lesson plan to their needs if necessary. She gives the following instructions. You have 10 minutes to write everything you know about important historical events on the 21st century. Continue writing until the time is over. Based on the teacher's purpose and instruction given, which of the following types of assessment is she carrying out? Now we have assessment evaluation, final assessment, process assessment, diagnostic assessment, okay? So let's read it, okay? Let's read it. It says, Ursula is going to use important historical events of the 21st century to provide the context of her writing class. So here, look at this. Provide the context of her for her writing class. Okay, she's providing the context. Maybe she's in the presentation part, no? Providing the context, maybe getting prior knowledge too. Okay. Because of this, she would like to know what information students have on the topic. Prior knowledge. She would like to know what information students have on the topics. So you are not developing the topic. You are getting information from the topic, okay? So that she can adapt her lesson plan to their needs if necessary, okay? What is this? This is something that we do. Yes, yes, very good. Diagnostic assessment, okay? The diagnostic assessment is this, is getting information from the students before starting the process. So you can adapt your planning or you can add information needed according with the interest, with the needs of the students, okay? That's correct. That's correct. It's diagnostic assessment. Diagnostic assessment. She would like to know what information students have on the topic so she can adapt her lesson plan. Yes, that is diagnostic. Very good. 11. A teacher wants her students to reflect on Peruvian cultural practices in the framework of the intercultural approach. In this context, she's planning a teaching unit on carnival celebrations. Which of the following actions is it most appropriate to carry out to develop this unit? A, design sessions on the most popular carnival celebrations in Peru and the way those celebrations contribute to the promotion of the Peruvian culture. B, design sessions on the carnival celebrations of the students' towns and their level of importance with respect to other carnival celebrations in Peru. C, design sessions on the carnival celebrations of the students' communities and their connection to other carnival celebrations in Peru. So I know that the options seem familiar one with other, no? But we need to distinguish here what the teacher wants. Okay, if you distinguish what the teacher wants, says reflect on Peruvian cultural practices. This is the goal, okay? Reflect on Peruvian cultural practices, okay? Okay, you need to analyze and get, okay, the correct answer. Get the correct answer. I got it, you need to get it. Because maybe in all of these, you need to reflect when you prepare the material, when you talk about the topic, but you need to distinguish in which of these you make a real reflection of cultural practices. Yes, 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 very good, Irma. Yes, very good. See, design sessions on the carnival celebrations of the students' communities, no? Because students maybe come from different communities, and if you have this, okay, if you have this in your students, before checking readings of celebrations of places in other regions, but before doing this, if you have communities in the students, different communities, you should start from the basics. You should start with your students. If your students belong to different communities, so you have a lot of material to work there, starting with your own students. Okay? So if you design sessions on the carnival celebrations of the students' communities, that is the best one, because you are starting with your own students. And after you made a connection to other carnival celebrations in Peru, okay? That is the most important. When we have a class, we have different students, and sometimes the students come from one place to other place, and they have family in different cities, or they come from different communities, and you need to start with them, asking about celebration. How do you celebrate in your community? How is the carnival in your region? How do you celebrate where you live? And they're going to get a lot of information from different communities that you have. So the most important is to start there. With them, you have material there. So take advantage of this. And then you made a connection with other carnival celebrations in Peru. That is the most appropriate, okay? That's it. Okay, that's correct. 12, it says, a teacher wants to promote his students' participation in the construction of rules that favor coexistence in the classroom. Which of the following actions is more appropriate for this purpose? A, the teacher tells the class delegates to go over the rules of classroom coexistence the class used last year. Then he asks the delegates to think of ways to improve those rules. Finally, the teacher encourages the class delegates to incorporate the improvements to the old rules. B, the teacher asks the students about the aspects in which they think that coexistence in the classroom has improved or not. Then he invites the students to set goals they would like to attain regarding classroom coexistence. Finally, he asks them to propose rules that could help them reach those goals. C, the teacher, together with other staff members, evaluates the real situation of the students' coexistence. Then he asks the students to determine which aspects of classroom coexistence need to be improved. And on the basis, the teacher proposes new coexistence rules for the classroom. Now, this is something that we work with our students in our classrooms. So which is more appropriate for this purpose? Okay, which is the more appropriate? Which is more appropriate? And this is something that we work nowadays with our students when we are asked to have coexisting environment, and we need to write the rules of coexistence. Okay, this is something that we do in our classes when we